Welcome back, everyone. This is Akanar here with more Taiji, where we have completed 6 of the major areas so far. We're making some good progress, and we have lots of optional puzzles that are still strewn about all over the place. Don't worry, we will get to those eventually. We will be doing puzzle cleanup come one of these days, but we're going to move on to the next main objective, which is lighting another bonfire. And I think the area that's been most intriguing to me since I last recorded is this this area that appears to have a whole bunch of binary numbers. That's at least what my computer science brain tells me is going on here. Is that the case? If these are binary numbers, what do we do with them? Another detail that my cat laser brain is getting distracted by is the fact that I'm standing on this panel and there is a green, what appears to be a green outline. This is maybe something we'll do during puzzle cleanup, is try to take stock of how many of these. There's been a few panels here and there that have had like a colored outline to them. And I feel like that is important somehow, but I just have not paid enough attention to it to know what importance there is to it. For now, we're gonna just bookmark that idea and try to focus on the main objective here. If this is binary, the first instinct would be to try to, I don't know, perform some sort of a, like we could do this. There could be some Boolean logic here that we want to do, you know, anding or oring, or if 0 is false and 1 is true, then would these just, you know, false or true is true if we think that a filled in square corresponds to true. So would we just, you know, if wherever we have a 1 and a 0, that's a true or a false. And therefore we have true as the resulting outcome to our Boolean expression. So if we have 2 zeros, we would leave that empty. If we have, now a 1 and a 0 again would fill this in. Now we could have, it may not be an or, it could be an exclusive or. So you would only fill in the square when you have a single 1 and a single 0. In a case where you have 2 1s, you might have it, they might kind of cancel each other out, and you would leave it empty. Just speculating here, we're taking a wild shot to say that this is an XOR function. It's not. Okay. So there's something else here. Maybe it's an and. Maybe there is an and that you have to do. I could, of course, be going down a complete rabbit hole that actually makes no sense, because I'm making a very strong assumption here that we're performing Boolean logic. So we need to be very ready to ditch that strong assumption, just because that's where my brain happens to go. Another detail here, which might be important, is the fact that there is a dot on one end of this, you know, binary string. There is a dot on the left-hand side of the top string. There's a dot to the right-hand side of the bottom string. So could there be a different, interesting. It just feels like we're supposed to do something with, there's 2 either numbers or strings or expressions, and we're supposed to combine them in some way. That's what it feels. That's what feels like should happen. Now, is there ever a world where the dot is, you know, we want to like, the dots need to actually be on the same end? Does the fact that the dot is on the right-hand side on the bottom string mean that we need to flip that around? We need to like flip it around the vertical axis in the center? I feel like that's already very much over complicating things. I feel like that is an over complication. There are also a lot of panels here which don't look like they don't appear to have any, you know, the floor, the pressure plate that we stand on, that cable goes all the way to this gate, and then the next pressure plates are behind that gate. So, it could be that I actually started at not the tutorial, because that puzzle actually, there is more to this area. I sort of just ran up here and just found the first binary looking puzzle, and now as I'm settling into recording, I'm remembering that there is more to this snowtop region that maybe we were meant to spend a little more time learning. That we've had this, the game has done this to us a couple times. I think last episode or maybe the episode before, not totally sure. I think it was the mill area where we were introduced. There was a initial set of panels that you walk past, and it turns out that they are really not. It's not even close to the tutorial panels. And now that we're a little bit, we're back into the Christmas tree area, it does look like maybe we have some tutorial panels here that are going to get us up to speed. Is this the first one here? There we go. Okay, let's see if this panel is a little bit more our speed, because now I do see the dots that are on the same side. Now, are we doing, like, what would be the simplest explanation here? The simplest explanation, I still want to try Boolean logic. I still want to go with ands and ors as my first initial approach. If we do an or, does that work? If we do an and, does that work? If we do the XOR that I initially tried to do, does that work? I wonder if this is an XOR function. I wonder if we are actually dealing with XORs in these puzzles. The exclusive OR, where if you have a false and a false, it's a false. If you have a true and a false, it's a true. But two trues make a false. If this is an XOR, I would expect this to work. Okay. Okay. I've mentioned it before. I have a background in computer science. What would is that a prerequisite to playing this game? How does one, if you have not had exposure to things like Boolean logic, it would be very. I'm going to be very interested to find some other people who have played this game, who have a different background, and see how they approached it. But maybe there are just some basic logical rules that eventually you'd be able to figure out based on the fact that these are just ones and zeros. There has to be some pattern there that you would deduce, and eventually you might derive the XOR logic on your own. So now I'm going to be very interested to see what happens when we see the dots. The dot is perhaps, well, on the first introductory panels here, the dots line up, which makes me think that they are going, that on that first panel that we looked at, that we're going to need to flip them. But let's see. Let's go through the sequence here that the game wants us to start with. I've also noticed that the gravestones seem to have ones and zeros on them. Sort of. The zero on this gravestone is more of a, it looks more like the symbol that we've seen in a couple. It's where we started the game, right? We started the game on that panel that had like the two squares or two diamonds that formed like an 8-pointed star. An interesting thing to note. Now, my detail-oriented brain sees that this top number is now a little bit shifted to the right. Does that change our logic? There's still 5 entries on the puzzle panel. Let's assume that it doesn't change the logic. However, the problem is if we're still XORing 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, then they would all be filled in. Okay. I don't know if that little skew, that little offset is supposed to throw us off the scent to try to send us into an overcomplication. Oh no, what is this? Oh dear, what are we doing here? We have overlapping numbers, I think. It looks like the top number, I see. So I think we've not just skewed to the right, the bottom number, but we've also like shifted it upwards. We've like created, there's less of a margin between the two numbers, so they're overlapping. I think we still have though a 1-0, and then we have a 1-1, which would result in a false. We have a 0-0, which would be false. 1-1 false, 1-0 true, 0-1 true. Does the pattern hold? So far, XOR it is. Okay. Okay. Let's keep it going then. These are starting to... Yeah, okay. We're playing some funny games with the way that we're lining up these strings, but so far, that has not changed the logic. These are still a 0 and a 1, even though they look a little funky. This is a 1 and a 0. And that should solve. Okay. Oh my god, what are we doing here? Oh, we are really... Man, this is taking me back. There's... Instead of overlapping bird noises in the jungle, overlapping binary strings. Okay. 2 zeros, 2 zeros, 2 ones. Those should all result in a false, and then we have true, true, and a false. Okay. This is fine. These should all be false. This should be a completely empty panel. No. Oh, okay. Right. No. I was misinterpreting that. Okay, so we've taken this to its, of course, I guess, logical conclusion. It's maybe not the Boolean logical conclusion. It's the shifting, overlapping weirdness of binary strings. But if you had overlapping zeros here, then the middle would be empty, right? They would just look like zeros. So the overlapping ones just look like a 1, but overlapping 1 and 0 looks like a square. So in fact, it's the squares that are true. That's, I got that wrong momentarily, but we brought it back in. Am I supposed to be paying attention to these gravestones at all? So far, they are just here for decoration in my mind, but you know, I have a feeling that there could be some secrets that this game holds that we should maybe pay closer attention to some of these details. What do we have now? The number that I see is above what appears to be a doorway here. We're gonna open up a doorway into more binary Boolean logic puzzles. Like we said before, the square should be an overlapping 1 and a 0. The hollow square should be overlapping zeros. This should be the solution based on what we know. Okay, and sure enough, open sesame. And we have quite a few more puzzles here. Oh, I like the little light. The lights that we've got set up here to illuminate our... Man, it almost feels like a mausoleum. The the pharaohs of the binary empire are stored here. Interesting. Let's see if we can figure this out. Okay. Interesting. Now, so now we only have 1 dot. So, based on what we know so far, I would expect that this is going to be our first instance where we are reversing the numbers. I think we want to, for the left-hand number, the first digit is actually on the right. and on the left-hand number, the first digit is on the left, like normal, quote unquote. That's the way I read this. Now, in this case, because we're dealing with all zeros on the left, it actually doesn't change anything. The only thing what it's going to do is it's actually going to tell us, I think this is what it's going to tell us. It could be that I've got that flipped. It might be that the number on the left should be read from left to right, but the number on the right should actually be read from right to left. That's, I think, what this is going to try to teach us. Let's go with that latter case. Let's assume that the one on the right gets flipped. That would mean that it goes like this. It's not. So it should be the other way then. It should be like this. Okay, actually, no, that actually does make more sense, because so far on all of the puzzles that we've done before this, the dot is the, well, I'm calling it the start of the string, because you're so used to reading things from left to right. Technically, in a strict technical sense, for the other computer scientists out there, if these are indeed binary numbers, the most significant bit is actually on the left. I guess that's with any numbering system, right? Even if this were decimal, the most significant bit is on the left. But maybe one way or another, it doesn't matter whether we're dealing with most significant or least significant, or the only thing is, how does it line? The only thing that matters is how does it line up with the puzzle panel. So the important thing is the one on the you read from, imagining that there's a dot to the left of the puzzle panel. That's how you do that. That's how you think about it. So that means in this case, we should now have 1 1 0 1 1 0. Boom, boom. Excellent. So I think now we probably know how to open that door. Back at the start. The one we started with and failed on because we didn't know what we were doing yet. Now we should know what we're doing. So let's see if we can just flip. If we flip this, we actually end up with the same number, don't we? This is going to be the same number on the top and the bottom if we flip the bottom one around. And so if we XOR everything that matches, we just end up with all false, correct? Boom. I think we're getting it. I think we're getting it. Feels good. Flip around the bottom. We get 1 1. Is it? No, it's a different number on the top and bottom this time. Once again, they're playing the little merging game with us, but that's okay. We're on to them. We know what we're doing, I think. 0 0 should be the second digit. Then we should have 1 0 1 0 1 1 1 0. We got this. I think we got this. Okay, now, now it gets interesting. Now it does get interesting. So I'm noticing not just the panel that we're doing here, but the next one in the sequence. The current panel has 7 digits that are shown between 2 dots, but this next panel has a lot more than 7 between 2 dots. I think I know what's going to happen here. In one case, we're reading the number from left to right, but then we take the same exact number and we read it back right to left. So we need to go 1 XOR 1, which is 0. 1 XOR 0, which is 1. 0 1 1. 1 1 0. And then the same exact thing back in this direction. Correct. I think that makes sense. Now, things could potentially be I don't know if this is going to, I think what we want to do with this puzzle, it's actually not going to matter. It doesn't matter which number you think as the first number or first string versus the second string. The order of the XOR doesn't matter. So we can pick one of these two. Does that even matter? Am I thinking about a detail that doesn't matter? Probably. Would not be the first time. I think the simple answer here is that we take the first 7 digits from each dot. right? So the first digit is a 1 and a 0, which is a 1. Then we have a 0 and a 1, which is a 1. 1 and a 0, 1. 0, 0, 0. Get my count right here. 1 and a 1 makes 0. 1 and a 0 makes a 1. And then 0 and a 1 makes 1. Okay. This is fun, but I think we're getting it. Let's see what... we're already at the bonfire? Quickest bonfire yet? Interesting. Can we get the final solve here? I think so. If we're okay, well, now I'm not so sure. Now I'm not. Okay, well, let's work this out. One number starts with a 0, the other starts with a 1. That's gonna make a 1. 0 XOR 1 is 1. The second, here's where it gets a little tricky. In one case, we know for sure it has to be a 1 as the second digit here, but on the other side, it could be either a 0 or a 1, could it not? Because we have this overlapping business. Except if they're overlapping, wait a second. If they're overlapping, huh? Wait a minute. Is there some detail here? I'm looking at the shadows. There appear to be like, I don't know if shadows is the right word, but there's like a sort of an outline around the numbers that I was wondering if it was going to be a little different depending on. Man, do I have to guess? Do I have to guess here? I guess I could fill in the ones that I know for sure. So this, the third digit I think has to be 0 and a 1. Is that correct? Yeah, I think so. Third digit has to be a 0 and a 1, just like the fifth digit would have to be a 0 and a 1, correct? So that's where we get to. Okay, I feel like I'm missing something obvious here. I don't want to guess. I hate guessing in puzzle games, because if I'm getting to the point where I feel like I have to guess, that probably means that I've missed something. There's a dot on each. We might need to, why don't we review? Or there are still, we've got the bonfire here, but there are still other, binary puzzles or XOR puzzles to solve. The gate that we were at the very beginning of the episode. Perhaps that's something we need to revisit now. But let's look one more time at the puzzles where we've been flipping the dots. They've all been in here, haven't they? The dot flipping has all been inside of the mausoleum. The middle appears to be an overlapping 1 and a 0. Well, actually then that wouldn't. Okay, the middle one should be filled in, because if it's a 1 and a 0, well, 1 XOR 0, like we said before, the order doesn't matter. 1 XOR 0 is the same as 0 XOR 1. So that actually should be filled in. What's throwing me for a bit of a loop is it feels like we kind of have to guess between two cases here. One case is where See, I don't know if the second digit in this number that we're starting at the right-hand side goes 1, and then it has this overlapping 0 and 1. Is this supposed to be a 0 or a 1 for the second number? Because that's going to change what my answer is. I know for sure that the digit here, I feel like this is going to be either, the solution is going to be either this or it's going to be this. Those are only two choices. So, you know, I guess if I have to guess between those two, I'm going to feel a little bad because I'm still missing whatever lesson I'm supposed to learn. So before we take a stab, I feel like we have a 50-50 shot there. It's not going to be the most egregious offense in terms of brute forcing that's ever been committed in a puzzle game. But before we do that, just to be sure, let's return to the panel that we started with and try to solve those panels and see if there's any additional lessons to learn. There weren't too many panels behind this gate. Let's see if we can get it solved this time. So we do flip these, as I had initially suspected, and I didn't want to try because I thought, oh, maybe I'm really jumping to conclusions here. But I think we've got a 1-0, we've got a 0-0, we've got a 1-0, 1-0, 0-0, 1-1, 1-1. That should work. It doesn't. What? Huh. So there is something that I've missed or misinterpreted. Or did I just screw up? 1 and a 0. 0 and a 0. 1 and a 0. 0 and a 1. 0 and a 0. I screwed up. I just screwed up. I screwed up. Okay. I don't know that these have to do something, don't they? Don't these have to be important? Or are they just counting? It looks like we're just counting. 0, 1, 2, 3 in binary. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Am I still counting correctly? This is... Oh, wait a second. Hold on. Hold on a minute. 0. Well, I don't know for sure. I'm assuming that the bottom is the least significant. Okay. I feel like these are probably important, but I also don't see a panel that goes with them. Whoa, wait a second. We have 3? Do we have 3? Oh my gosh. These panels also have a green outline. Well, never mind. Just this one does. These two. What is going on here? Okay, we do have an additional layer to these that... Huh. So now what are we doing? Do we even pay attention to the number in the middle? Do I even pay attention to the number in the middle? Well, if I'm continuing on with my XOR, are we XORing 3 things? Oh man, this is another, like, it could be that it's not really been an XOR function this whole time. Oh no, I forgot it. I forgot the basic step of flipping the bottom number. Oopsie. 0 and a 1. I'm just ignoring this middle string of zeros for now as a first step. 0 and 0 should be 0. 1 and 0 should be a 1. 0 and a 1 should be 1. 0 and 0 should be 0. This is like the same as the gate, isn't it? Okay. Now, we ignored the middle string in this case. Is that because it was all zeros? Do we get things kind of screwed up if we introduce a... If we're still XORing... If we're XORing 3 elements, I think it should evaluate to false if more than one element is true. I think that's how XOR works. So I might need to review my own Boolean logic understanding when it comes to the case of XORing 3 elements. So if that's the case, if we switch this around, we would have a 0, a 1, and a 1, which would be false. 0, 1, and a 0 should be true. 1, 1, and anything should be false. 0, 1, and a 1 should be false. 0, 1, and a 0 should be true. 1, 1, and anything should be false. 1, 1, and anything should be false. Could be that we're still supposed to ignore the middle string, even though it's a whole bunch of 1s. It's just there to confuse us. So let's just ignore it again and go back to XORing 2 things. 0 and a 1 would be true. 0 and a 0 would be false. 1, 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, 1, 1, 1, 1. Okay, there is something else going on here. Something else going on here that I don't quite get. Like, maybe it's not been about... Could it be that it's not been about addition? I'm sorry, that it's not been about XORing, but it should be about addition? Are we supposed to be adding bits together? This having 3 numbers here is really screwing with me. And also I still can't quite shake the idea that these are supposed to be numbers. And if they are, I think it should be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. But even if that's the case, what does that do for me? I noticed that some of them are light gray, some of them are dark gray. I don't know what's going on there. I do not know. That's okay. Okay. It's been kind of an interesting point that the game so far, the main obstacle or the main stumbling block for me has been the very first puzzle in the game. That was the one that I felt the most stuck on. Outside of that initial puzzle, once we sort of got the ground rules for Taiji in place, we haven't had... There's been some tough puzzles, but I haven't felt hard stuck in really any other cases. So maybe the binary puzzles are finally presenting this. Going back to this bonfire puzzle, I mean, we can guess, I guess. I don't love it, though. I don't love it. But that is a graveyard. It was a mausoleum. The graveyard... Oh, yeah, of course. There's all sorts of gravestones outside. The graveyard has been completed, albeit with a final puzzle that I don't completely understand. Unless this was an instance where both of these would have worked. They would. They do both work. Now, I don't think I could do this, correct? And I don't think I could do this, but it does accept one or the other. Whoa, okay, that feels a bit strange, I have to admit. I don't feel like amazing about that, because there is something I think I'm supposed to learn that I haven't got yet. Well, I'm going to continue to mull that one over, but I guess for the moment, we will accept the generosity of the final puzzle in the graveyard. And we'll accept our bonfire. Another bonfire has been lit. That was a quick one. So we'll take that as well. And that does mean that we've got some more time here. I am not done solving puzzles. I've got an itch to solve more puzzles. So let's head back to that set of panels that we were just at a moment ago. I will admit that I did take a short break. And in that short break, I reminded myself the rules when it comes to XOR logic. I reminded myself the fact of what happens when you have 3 inputs to an XOR gate. It is not what I was thinking I remembered. It's not a, like the name XOR, it means exclusive OR, but it doesn't mean that you only have to have one true. It's actually more of an odd number detector. That's really what it's looking for. It's looking for an odd number of ones. So if we have that in mind, then we actually, the instances where it is all ones, we would actually want it to be true. So when all three, so if we're flipping this bottom number, and I'm just, again, it doesn't matter whether you flip the middle number is all ones, no matter which way you slice it. So that would make this final digit actually all ones, wouldn't it? So this would be true. Was that the only one that we would have to change? No, it actually looks like the second to last as well is 1, 1, 1. Let's make sure here. 0, 1, 0. That should be, wait a second. So 0, 1, 0 is, I'm getting offset here. I was lining up the fifth digits with the middle one, but that's the same thing. Wait a second, hold on here. I'm starting to confuse myself. Let's take a step back. Let's just do a reset here, because I have thoroughly confused myself somehow. If we start at we'll start with the first digit here. 0, 1, and then a 1. That's an even number, so that should be false. 0, 1, 0. There's only 1, so that should be true. A 1, 1, 0 should be false. 0, 1, 1 should also be false. 0, 1, 0, that should be true. 1, 1, 1 should be true. 1, 1, 1 should be true. Aha! It certainly does appear to be an exclusive OR. I just needed to remember how it works when there's 3 of them. Very interesting. Very interesting. How? I'm going to be curious to see other people play this game when I'm fully done. Because I'm going to be... how do you approach these puzzles if you don't have that little bit of experience with Boolean logic? Let's go through this here the same. Now, okay. Once again, we have a middle string because we have 7 digits here. The middle string, it doesn't matter in what order you put it. So the dot is irrelevant for the middle number, which is convenient for us. So it only matters in terms of the bottom and the top numbers. So 0, 0, 1 should make the first digit true. 0, 1, 0, true. 1, 0, 0 should also be true. 0, 1, 1 would be false. 0, 1, 0. Oh, wait a second. Hold on. I don't know. Why did I line up a 0, 1, 0? I was lining up. I was just making a mistake there, lining up the 5th column with the middle digit on this string. So did I screw up each of these? Hold on. Let's go through this again. 0, 0, 1. 0, 1, 0. 1, 0, 0. Okay, I think I got those first 3 correct. I don't know why I was going 5, 4, and 5 for this fifth one. That doesn't make sense. The middle one should be 0, 1, 1, which is false. This one should be 0, 0, 0, which is also false. And then the sixth digit should be 1, 1, and 1. Followed by a 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, which should be false. Haha. Okay, okay. Very cool. So let's, that might be all of the, if we're thinking of this as part of the graveyard section here, that might complete both the required and quote-unquote optional puzzles for the graveyard. We'll see if I don't remember if there have been other binary puzzles strewn about the island. The island! I can't help myself, guys. This is forever... It's forever the Taiji Island. Should we just roll with it? It's just an island. We'll pretend that this is what an island looks like, guys, because every island that you've ever been to has a snowy Christmas tree mountaintop area, doesn't it? So what I'm going to do, let's stroll around the island and see what other optional puzzles. We know that there's plenty that we have left unsolved. We just need to find some optional puzzles to take a second look at. We did open up this shortcut last time, and did we complete all of the... I think there were definitely some parts of the garden that were left unsolved. We did not figure out what might be of use with this here. This trellis could also be some sort of a puzzle panel, but if it is, I don't know how to interact with it. Like, this is just so conspicuous here. This square in the middle that has the 2 yellow sides and 2 magenta sides, it feels like it should correspond to one of these flowers that we worked with last time. But I don't know what to do with that yet. I suppose, since we're right here, we could... I think I did figure out in watching back my footage, I think I know what to do now with this setup of the 3x3 circular platforms here. I think what we want to do, the symbol that is below each of these, there's some that have just a circle, and there's some that have a line. And I think what that means is the ones with a line want to have a bridge segment attached to them. I think that's what that means. And the ones that have no line want no bridges. Now, it looks like there are actually 7. At least 7. Let me remind myself what the one in the upper... Yeah, this... Okay, so this one has a... So it's only this... It's the top right and the bottom right that just have the singular circles. And right now... Why is that? Because my theory in when I was editing my footage, my theory was... So in this case, this... Oh no, okay, yeah. They change color. Right now we have like a whole bunch of them that are black. And there's a couple that are light blue. They are light blue, I think, when they're happy. And in order to make them happy, the circular one needs to have no bridges connected to it. Or perhaps an even number of bridges. I think there might be... I think we might see some instances here. I would have to... Maybe I could do it. Let me see how I would accomplish this. But if I would have to... Like, if this one here that we're standing on right now is not happy because it has 2 bridges attached to it instead of 1. However, I want to say that I saw instances on my footage where I was able to... Yeah, I think I can take this one around. I think if we connect 3 bridges to this panel here, it would actually be happy. I'm wrong. Never mind. Never mind. I think... Okay, well, that's good that we tested that. I don't think that we would want to attach 3 bridges to one of them anyways, because how do we make all of these happy if they need to all have a bridge attached to them? So it looks like the answer is either 1 bridge or no bridges. Okay, let's start working in that direction. Can we get a situation where we have 1 bridge attached to everything but the top right and the bottom right? Can we do that? It would probably start... Probably a good start would be something like this. We could do this. Pass this bridge over to this side. And reconnect. Now, if I do something like this, where I connect 1 bridge between these 2, I think it makes both of them happy. I think, yeah. The problem is, though, that I'm stranded. I can't get back to where I need to be. So it's like I need temporarily to have 2 bridges attached to this one, perhaps. Perhaps? How do we do this? The other question is, do we need to make them all happy just once in order to, like, permanently power them? Similar to these platforms that we've been permanently powering? Is that sufficient? Or do we need to have them all stay happy and be able to disembark to get to the door? We'll see if that detail is important here eventually. Maybe we try that first. As a first step, we try to make everything happy and just see what happens, because they are lighting up in a way that would... Well, no, but that's passing power from here. I wonder if that's important. Do we need to also pass power from the platforms? Let's assume not. Let's assume that we can solve... We can make everybody happy without doing that. So I could do, like... I could do... This is tricky because I'm trying to figure out how to do this without stranding myself. Maybe that will just come together? Did we just solve it? Because I think this should make everything happy if I go like this. No, we have 2 attached in the center. So... Okay, so we could do something slightly different. I could go over here, and I could attach this bridge here. No, that's not quite what I want. I think I need to go in reverse. I think I need to pass this bridge over this way. And then we just... Oh, that's... what is the... what does a final arrangement look like here? If I really only want... If I only want a single connection to all the bridges that have the line symbol, the circle in the line, there's 7 of them, correct? So that means that if there's 4 bridge segments, I might be overcomplicating this. I could just go like this. And then they should all be happy now. And I'm hearing a sound that sounds like a door opening. Please tell me this is a permanent power-up. Oh no. No! No, it's not. Okay. Okay, so that's not good enough. We're close, maybe. Maybe we're close, but we have some work to do still. It is a situation like I was maybe afraid of, in that we have to make everybody happy and be able to escape. Now, can I... Ah, crap. Where's the extra bridge? Where do I have... Do I want to... I have 4 segments altogether, right? 4 bridge segments? It would be... How do I connect these? Maybe I'm not supposed to disembark here. Maybe I'm actually supposed to disembark here. Because if I can escape here, then I can find my way around, can't I? So if this is the final piece of the puzzle, maybe that's the answer, is to sequence this so that I end up with an escape route. Interesting that also makes everything happy. All right. Still can't escape though, because there's no jumping off of stuff, right? I haven't tried to do that in a very long time, but there's no jumping. So now that we're over here, can I pass this? I want to be able... Oh, There could be a few different ways to do this, because, like, at this point here, I could leave the puzzle, you know, and go all the way around. Well, but I haven't left myself a bridge to get, like, there's several, like, docking spots, I guess you want to call it. There's several spots that you could connect a bridge to get back onto dry land, if you will. The rest of the island. I'm getting a little bit lost in the sauce, though, I think. Let's try to back this up. If I think back again to how could I arrange this so that if I have 4 bridges, How would I arrange this so that I could have a bridge? That's what I was thinking. I could have a bridge here, and a bridge here, and then disembark here. But that's the problem is, how am I getting over? I would have to, that would be the answer. I would have to leave a bridge here like this. I need to leave a bridge connected here that would allow me to escape to this platform. And then I bring this one, over in this direction. I think this might work. This one connects here. I think this should work. Now I take this one and connect it this way. That wasn't as difficult as I was making. I just needed to think from the end. Solving the puzzle in reverse. Is now we go around this way, I think. We find our way through the back door and re-enter through the front, and that gets us to a new part of the island. Maybe we just roll with it, guys. Maybe this is just the... Whoa, what is this? Okay, let's recall our line rules. The line rules were the fact that we had to have this unique... You had to have... Okay. I think the idea was that the purple lines have to be within the same contiguous shapes. So that could be a 1x1, which would look like this, would it not? I think it has to be a 1x1 because these are in the corner, aren't they? I think we have to make these a 1x1. But then couldn't we also just make... We could make the yellows a 1x2. And they would also be happy, wouldn't they? Okay. Recalling rules. Recalling the rules. Now we get to combine... I think for the first time we're combining the flower rules. Let's see how well we're going to recall all of the different rules here. So the reminder on the flowers is the fact that if I remember the flowers, whatever is filled in on the flowers has to be... So this one here has 2 yellows and 2 purples, and it's filled in. That means that 2 of the surrounding petals have to also be filled in. They would correspond to the yellows, matches the square that it's on. The purples, these 2 are forced here, so these 2 have to correspond to the purple petals. Correct? So then what does that mean for our... I think what they're wanting us to do here, I think they want us to... I think I might be... Well, maybe not. What is... The other question is, what is the shape that they're wanting us to make with the... Is it actually going to go all the way around the board? Is it actually going to be this? No, not quite, because the yellow lines are not in the same position. This would not work. So the yellow lines, we can rotate these because these are diagonal. So, but they still need to be at the same position, the same square within whatever contiguous shape they're a part of. So this wouldn't quite work. Let's take a step back and just start with what we know has to happen. I think these 2 are the opening moves that they're forcing us to do. So then the fact that we have 4 purple petals on this flower means that whether we fill this in or whether it's empty, these 2 squares would have to be opposite. Oh, does that just mean that we actually can do what I was initially... Nope, nope. Not quite. I was initially thinking maybe we could do all the 4 lines would be in a 1x1 square, but the fact that this square here is forced empty means that this yellow line is at least going to be either part of this... Sorry. This 1x2 that's empty, if it were like this. Or it would have to be a part of this. Correct? Whether it's filled in or not, it's going to have something next to it that's going to make it into more than a 1x2. Now, if you were doing, maybe this is the answer. I think I just happened to see, well, wait a second, we've connected a little Z shape here that would actually work perfectly, and I think solve the board for us. Okay, kind of backed into that one. Just a single flower on this panel here. Could we do, would it let us do a 1x1 for all of these? Nope, it's not gonna let us do a 1x1. It's actually gonna make us do a T shape for each of these with the yellow at a very particular position in each of them. But then that kind of makes it easier for us because it lets us crisscross the puzzle in the way that they want us to. The puzzles, many of them at first feel a little bit, whoa, how am I going to approach this? But good, satisfying puzzle design, the way these are set up, you've got a place that starts you off. You're kind of forced to do a certain pattern based on the position of this flower. All right. The 4 purple flower next to this yellow line, what does that mean? What does that mean? What is forced here? What are they forcing us to do? Obviously, this square here is immutable. The fact that that is filled in means that we do have a choice to either fill this square in or not. How does it change based on these? Let's think about this. This one feels like there's a lot more flexibility on how you start. This one here, if this were filled in like this, that would mean that these all around it would have to be empty. 4 purples means opposites. But if we did it like this, we could have this shape. Are they telling me that I need to have a 1x1 for the line shapes? If that's the case, then this square with the 3 yellow petals would be empty, and these 3 would be empty. In which case, this one being empty would require... Well, it would require at least... Actually, would it require... It would require one of these to be filled. No, it would require one to be empty. Actually, I'm getting a little bit confused. If we're saying that the lines correspond to 1x1s, then I'm gonna mark some squares here. Then these are forced to be empty, I think. Because you have to have 3 empty yellow petals to go with the empty filled in square. That means that this square is empty. And so at least one of the squares around it is also required to be empty because there's 1 yellow petal. And if that's the case, that means 2 need to be filled in. But I can't fill in this one, which means that I would have to fill in these 2, and I then have a logical contradiction because now I've expanded this to a 1x2. Now, what if it is a 1x2? I could do that, potentially, and this would all be happy so far. What about this square? If we do this square, I could do it like this, and then this square here. I wonder, could I do this? Do I have to have, I don't remember the way that I arrange my petals. Can I have the yellow petal like off the board? Can I pretend that the yellow petal is out over here past the boundary and I just have the 3 purple petals on the board? I don't think so. I think the yellow petals have to be on. Oh no, but I screwed up the numbering here. I screwed up this numbering. Because I can't have 3 purple petals here. Does that one have to be empty? Meaning I would go like, no, but I couldn't do this. I could not do that. Have I found a logical contradiction? Wonder if this is a contradiction. Let me just walk through this one more time. I'm forcing, if I am saying that this is only, because theoretically we could have more spaces here that would be connected to the yellow line. The yellow line could theoretically go like, it could have a space where you've got a little L shape going like this. I guess it would actually be an S shape if it were there. It feels so much simpler to consider this scenario. And if that's the case, if I filled this in, let's say I filled that in. Now I would have to fill in 2 more of these. And then I would have, I could have potentially like a square, I guess. I'm going to unmark these. I'm going to unmark these squares here. Let's say that I, no, but it's going to have to do, The problem is this guy. I have to remember that the yellow lines, they don't, like, one could be in an inverse space, one could be in a negative space. It just needs to be the same contiguous shape. So there could be a world where this is supposed to happen, and I actually have some negative space that I've created. I would have to at least fill that in so that the negative space for this yellow doesn't extend below, because I don't think I can extend that below. Since this one's on the boundary here, I can only extend that shape upwards, if that makes sense. Starting to feel like this is one I might want to come back to, but let's see if we can keep going a little bit longer. Or I might need to do a reset on it. But if we are assuming, let's take a step back for a moment and say that we have this. What if we did this? No, it would have, okay. If I fill this square in, the 3 yellow petals, that means that 3 of the petals around have to be filled in somehow. And I think it would have to be, I don't think it could be this square here. No, maybe it can. Maybe that's fine. That could be okay. It would look like this. And that would mean that this is filled in. But then if that's filled in, then all 4 petals have to be empty, which would mean that would have to be empty. Trying to make these 2, maybe that's where we need to focus our attention, is on the flowers that have the 4 purple petals, since they have to have inverse petals all around them. I think I'm going to come back to this one. Let's look around a little bit more and see if we can find another. Or am I? No, I can go back up the stairs. I was like, am I stranded here? No, I can go back up this way. Let's keep looking around and see other places, other panels that we have. I think there may have been some that we've been stumped on before. Oh yeah, we didn't get things going in here. Can I get to those panels even? Yeah, we can. Okay, here we go. Right, this also gives us a change of pace, thinking about a different set of rules. The dots, it feels like we would want to do something like this. I think the shrine music might be my favorite. Whenever we come across the dot puzzles and that one instrument, which one of these days I need to look up the name of that instrument. Or there's a couple instruments here with this theme that are really, really beautiful. But it's the stringed instrument in particular that is very emblematic of the shrine theme that I love. Okay, we do have flower symbols mixed with the dots. So 4 dots. Could we just go like this? That feels pretty straightforward there. A very Taiji-like puzzle. Now this one is 3. So they want us to do this. Nope. Because these dots have to be in separate spaces. So could we go like that? Or like this? Okay. The petals are, the flowers and petals are overlapping there. That instrument there, love it. Absolutely my favorite. Okay. How do we do this one? Oops. It looks like whatever we pick for these purple petals has to be the same. I'm not sure I could set things up. I think they either have to be both filled or both empty. Let's start with both empty and see where that gets us. Now that we've filled in these with the single yellow, that probably means that these need to, probably the ones in the corners need to be empty. And then we just have this one, and that gets us our 9 for this guy. There we go. Okay. And then we have 8 dots this time. 8 dots would suggest a division like this. 7 plus 1. That actually makes that one happy. That actually makes this one happy. And then we can fill that in. That doesn't work. I think we've determined it would work like this, though. Yeah. I think that tells us that when we're in a situation, the corner cases or boundary cases, edge cases for the flowers, The yellow, the petals that are represented by yellow need to be visible on the board. Because the fact that we left this one empty, if I fill it in, then that would mean that these two are the purple petals. But the puzzle doesn't like that. It's telling me yellows have to be on the board. That's the way I'm reading that. Maybe we learned that last time, but whether we did or not, it's coming back to me now. That kind of has to be a 1 by itself, I think. So if that's the case... Oh, and also this is forced here. So, this is also forced. So one of these three has to be a yellow. Or has to be empty to correspond to the yellow, and 2 of them have to be filled in. What if we go like this? We could actually go like this and like this in order to satisfy the 2 dots there. But then this 3 is actually unhappy. Because it's a 4. So then does that mean... How do we adjust that then? Could I do something like this? We have to have the one... Oh, yeah, there has to be a single empty yellow petal. I'm going to reset this. There has to be a single empty to go with the empty in the middle. Is that supposed to be the... I think I'm forcing this 2 to go into the same space as this one. Maybe that's not supposed to be. Maybe it's supposed to be more like this. Or it could even be like this. This one has to have a single empty. This one has to have... This one we could either fill or leave empty. But there have to be 2 yellow petals. There's a single empty here. What if we put... What if we put that empty here and here? And then do that? Boom! Okay. Integrating this flower symbol in with the other symbols. So in the early going here, in the early stages, has felt like it's the most difficult one to bring into the mix. At least for my brain. So we have a 6, and then we have 2 4s that are both the same color, so we could combine those. This here... Let's assume for a second that we're filling in the middle, which means we would have to fill in these 4 here. Now, that sort of... Because of that, we already have a shape that's 5. 5 squares for this 4 dot square here, which means we kind of need to build out over to this guy to make 8. In some way, we would need to build in that direction. It could be like this. That would actually work for... We could do it like this. Could do it like this. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Sometimes you just get the flow. And now we're back to diamonds. Diamonds only. Now, I think what we learned is that we needed to have pairs of diamonds, but we could combine different colored pairs in the same room, so long as they're just 1 pair of each color. I think that's basically just taking that rule set, the corresponding rule set directly from the witness. I think, but it's been a couple episodes now since we dealt with the mines and diamonds. So let's make sure of that. How would I arrange that? The board. How would I arrange this? They're forcing a weird corner case here. An interesting corner case where I need to be able to. Yeah, I these two white diamonds need to be in an empty space with who? Who will they be in an empty space with? Like that? No, but I'm cutting that guy off. This is one of those that at first feels impossible. Like you're trying to connect this diamond with this diamond, but you're doing it across what feels like an impossible barrier. But there's got to be a creative way to fuse these. Like so. There we go. Now we're talking. Okay. Single yellow petals in the corner. I feel like that might work. And that might work. Easy. The symmetry, when there's a nice, what feels like an obvious symmetry, you can go with that Taiji flow. One. No. Oh, but I didn't connect these. But I did not connect these together. There we go. Once again. A symmetry. A flow. This game is a lot of fun. This game is a lot of fun, but I can also tell when the brain juices are starting to run a bit low, and I can see we've got a few more panels in this section here before we open up another, what appears to be another shortcut. So I think that is where we will wrap up this installment of Taiji. Another bonfire has been lit. The XOR section, the graveyard, has been dealt with, and we're down to just the two remaining bonfires. What will it be? The art gallery or the snaky maze puzzles that we've got here in the center of the quote-unquote island. Island bonfires. We're just borrowing all these terms from different games to bring to our world of Taiji. But yeah, that's where we'll wrap things up, and we'll look to, once again, refresh the brain, get things back in order. I'm so looking forward to trying to tackle this puzzle, and potentially it feels like we're going to be opening up a doorway into, perhaps actually into the mountain. And of course, we still have the mystery at the beginning of the game to figure out once those panels become active. And whatever other little mysteries and nuggets that are strewn about here that we end up finding. So, as always, thank you all very much for joining me, and I hope to see you in the next one.